The weaver's loom. Alma's hands knew the language of thread. From her small workshop, where the scent of dyed wool hung in the air, she wove tapestries that told stories of sun-drenched hills and ancient skies. But her own story, she felt, was waiting to be woven on a different loom in a land across the ocean. The dream was of America, a place of big skies and bigger chances. But the path to it was a tangle of forms, a confusing map of rules and requirements. Each night she sat at her table, the papers piling up like snowdrifts, the hope in her heart growing a little colder. One afternoon, scrolling through a sea of information on her small laptop, a simple, strong sentence caught her eye. It was on a web page, plain and direct, like a hand reaching out in the dark. "We are the immigrant's attorneys." She made a call. The voice on the other end was calm and clear. A few days later, she was sitting in a clean, quiet office, across from a man with kind eyes and a reassuring smile named Solomon Kanu. Solomon listened to Alma's whole story, to the dreams woven into her tapestries and the fears tangled in the paperwork. "It's a complex journey," Solomon said, his voice steady. "But you don't have to walk it alone." On the wall behind Solomon, a simple framed certificate hung. It read, "Put an attorney with over 2 decades of experience in your corner." Alma looked from the frame to Solomon's face and felt a knot in her chest begin to loosen. Together, they sorted the tangle. Solomon explained every form, every deadline, every question. He turned the mountain of paper into a series of steps, a clear path forward. Alma's kitchen table was no longer a place of despair, but a space of organized progress. There were interviews to prepare for, documents to gather, and long weeks of waiting. Through it all, Solomon was a constant presence, a steady voice on the phone, an anchor in the sea of uncertainty. Then, one bright morning, the letter arrived. The visa was approved. It was a single piece of paper, but it held the weight of a new life. Alma held it in her hands, the same hands that wove stories from thread, and wept with relief. Today, Alma's hands know the language of a new thread, in a new land. From her small shop in a bustling American city, she weaves tapestries of bridges and horizons, of brave journeys and new beginnings. Her own story, finally on the right loom,